Hello, I'm Jack from Kennedy. I may appear just like every average young man, but I'm not. I have a condition which is on the autistic spectrum called Aspergers syndrome, which is seen as just a mild form of autism. I guess it's a different way of thinking, and it can be just as much of a gift as it is a curse. But less about me. Today, I'm going to interview 3 people, Brogan Rees, Charlotte Rowlands and Emma Burton, to get a perspective from a male with Asperger's, a female with Asperger's, and a parent who has a child with Asperger's, and the difficulties they face every day and the positives of their condition. I'm with Brogan Rees now, chatting to him about his experiences with Asperger's syndrome. Thank you for coming.
No worries, glad to be here. For me, it makes me very jitterish around new people. It makes me very self-conscious, and on bad days where a minor issue can affect my entire mood, it can be a big hassle. It makes you feel every day that everybody's against you and that you're never going to be what you want to be. So you constantly feel like it's this big barrier around you that's limiting what you can do in every process. Not in terms of what you can do yourself, but also when you try to maybe do something more independently as a young adult, like trying to maybe get a driver's license or trying to move on your own. There's this constant, but you have Asperger's, so you can't really, so you feel like it's a constant barrier around you, just limiting what you can do and what you could do, be able to do in your life.
It makes me quiet and not want to talk to people, and I can't go out on my own and stuff.
I think he finds some things quite difficult. He finds social interaction quite difficult. He doesn't get social cues, or when he's being too close to someone, or he's not being close enough to someone, or getting conversations. He does find that quite difficult, and he probably will find that quite difficult as he grows up as well. He used to have a lot of issues with sensory problems, so if something was too loud or if something was a funny texture, he would completely start crying and just not be happy. But he's a lot better now. But yeah, I would say that the main issue now is his social communication.
I would never say I would not like to have Asperger's. I like having Asperger's. I think as a person it's unique. It brings many positives with it. I think it makes me a more empathetic person. I can understand the issues of other people and read on their emotions. So I tend not to be more judgmental, because having Asperger's is I've been judged by other people, by my abilities and by this disability my entire life. So I try not to judge others unless it's something very for the thing they can't control. So I think I'm a little less judgmental than most people, and I think I'm a bit more empathetic. I think it makes me more creative and lets me think outside the box when it comes to my work. I'm glad that I think Asperger's is giving, when I like something I do, I think my Asperger's gives me that fixation on it to keep focusing and keep improving myself on that one thing. Like, I'm glad I'm doing this media course because it's what I've always wanted to do. And I think my fixation on it from my Asperger's has helped me continuously go into college and keep doing better and better at my grades.
I think it helps me musically and stuff, because I've got such a mathematic brain. It helps me academically.
I think there's lots of positives, definitely. I wouldn't change him for the world. He's exactly the same boy, he just happens to have an Asperger's diagnosis. He's nothing, I wouldn't change anything about him really. He's got a lot of strengths, so he notices things that other people might not necessarily notice. So he's really, really good with music and songs, because I'm into it a lot as well, so I play him a lot of songs, a lot of music. So he likes rhythm, he likes singing songs, and I think that's going to be a big strength for him when he grows up. The same with numbers as well. I think obviously at the moment he's not doing maths, but I think as he gets older he's got a really, really good strength for numbers. He likes counting, he likes sequences, which is quite cool. So yeah, that's about it really.
There should be definitely more support. There should be more potentially government funded to help people with Asperger's get the skills they need to work, and there needs to be more understanding in the workplace and in society of how people with Asperger's work. People that have this stupid stereotype that people with Asperger's go into spasm modes just by the minor things, when they could just be a bit more quieter, but they could just be as dedicated to work as the next person. many people with Asperger's have better people skills than most people because they may be very friendly, which is better because most public servants you might find are very moody and give you attitude whenever. So there just needs to be more, and they need to be promoting this, understand that autism isn't this completely, what's what I'm looking for now, startling thing. It's just something that people need to get used to it, and when used to it, you just see them as a regular person. So you can't just constantly put this stereotype in that people with Asperger's are spastics and can't do anything, because you're just pushing them out of having a normal life, and that's just going to affect their mental health. It's by promoting these constant stereotypes and not understanding the condition that's pushing these people out to work.
I think there should be an awareness in like job centres and stuff for autistic people and finding the right jobs for them.
I think generally more acceptance, because obviously it is a spectrum. He's not as profound as some people might be, but if you've got more understanding, more acceptance of people's strengths as well as the things they find difficult, I think that will be a massive, massive help, because a lot of, the same as everyone's got strengths that can be not exploited, but that can be taken advantage of. It's not always the bad, the negative things. There are a lot of strengths, and I think as long as you know people's strengths, then everyone can be successful, whether they've got a diagnosis or not.
I wouldn't say it defines me as a person. I like to sometimes use it as a joke about myself, as a way of potentially like making light to the condition, so I don't feel so bad about it. Like, I make constant jokes about Asperger's myself, but that's just my way of living with it. I wouldn't say it's completely me. I'd say it is a part of my identity. I think I like having Asperger's because I like to think I'm part of a unique minority of people in society, and that gives me a lot of confidence to know that I'm unique from the rest of people, and that I think, and when they use terms like you think and feel a different way, that even makes me feel a bit better with myself. In fact, I'm different from everyone else. I'm not just part of the crowd. It doesn't define me whole as a person, but I would say it is an integral part of my identity.
No, I think it's just a small part of me. Like, I'm still like the same as everyone else on the inside. It's just how I appear to people is different.
It definitely does not define who he is as a person. It's one tiny little aspect of his personality. He's Jacob first, and he just happens to have additional needs. He's still my little boy. He's still Jacob at the end of the day. He does find some things difficult that other people might not necessarily find difficult, but I'm just so proud of him for everything that he's done, and it doesn't define him at all.
I've definitely known my entire life. I mean, I was a very strange child. I would roll myself down the stairs straight down, and rather than walk up, I would clamber up like an animal, and I would also just go into weird moods where I just completely put my hands over my eyes and just start screaming. But that was when I was a young child, and as I grew up, it definitely got a bit weirder. I had no concrete sense of common sense. I would sometimes, as a 6-year-old, walk up the house with no clothes on. My mother would have to drag me back in because I didn't realise that people, don't do that. It's definitely in school. I was a strange child. I would always look out the window and think about other stuff. I would draw stuff in the air with my fingers, and the teachers obviously looked at me strangely. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed I wasn't, with all this weird behaviour throughout 6 years of primary school, that I wasn't diagnosed sooner. So I definitely, from the beginning, and my primary school and secondary school peers will tell you that I was a very strange child. So yeah.
I think probably when I was little in school and I didn't want to like play games with everyone else and stuff, I just wanted to sit on my own and read and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I took him to a play group just after we moved here, and all the other mothers there were like designer clothes, perfect hair, perfect children, and I walked in with all my tattoos and this screaming child, and he wouldn't talk to anyone, he wouldn't play with any of the other children, he would quite happily just sit in the corner doing his own thing, and he was late to walk as well, so I'd see children that were younger than him walking, having conversations with their parents, playing with other children, and I would think, why is Jacob not doing that? There's something, not quite right here. So I did the worst thing that you can do is I went home and I went on Google. So never trust Dr. Google.
No.
Because they will tell you the worst case scenario. So I was looking online and being told he would never talk, he would never walk, he would barely know who I was. And 2 years on, he's completely different. So it just goes to show it's not always the worst case scenario. But yeah, he's happy now.
I'm also going to talk to students around the college, simply asking them what is Asperger's syndrome, because I feel that this condition doesn't have much visibility and it's not very well understood. For these Vox Pops, I'm going to see if my view on the condition can be backed up with actual evidence that it isn't well known.
I think Asperger's is a form of autism.
I'd say it's just different.
I don't know. Clue. To be honest, I'm pretty sure it's a type of autism. No.
Well,
I go with
Asperger's
you. I
is
haven't done
a
field
condition
I haven't done field work
you
either.
have,
And
a mental condition,
today.
and
I haven't done.
there's
fuck all.
not much you can do about it, but it can be treated in a sort of way, but yeah, you're pretty much diagnosed with it when you are, and it's what I know about it. It affects the way you interact with people as well.
Well, in my opinion, it's an illness that affects a lot of people. You know, it affects their career. You know, people like Paddy Considine, who's a celebrity, he's worked hard to get to where he is, and he battles with it as well. It doesn't mean that you can't achieve anything with it. It's just a natural struggle, like epilepsy or anxiety or any other type of illness.
It's a mental disorder that is part of the autistic spectrum, and quite a lot of males suffer from it, and it goes undiagnosed a lot.
It's a mental condition that affects people by making them feel or think in a different way.
Well, I hope you found today's episode quite informative, and hopefully you've watched this and left with a little bit more knowledge on the condition itself. Thank you.